Hello, my name is Jesse McGowan Jr. And anybody that knows me know that I don't do this kind of technology stuff, so don't expect it to be orderly because it's not. But the reason why I'm doing this is because lately I've been hearing a lot of talking, and some things has been really concerning me about our people. I mean, our people, the Afros, black folk, Negroes, whatever name you would call them. But anyway, and I thought it's time that somebody speak up to give all the facts rather than just one side of an issue. Because we need to take control of ourselves. And before I start, this is probably going to be broken up into several different pieces because I can only put so much on each one. But anyway, if you want to watch the entire thing in its entirety, you can go to YouTube and search East Bluff Streaming TV. I'm sure it's right. YouTube East Bluff Streaming TV. So this will be cut up, okay? But that would be in its entirety. But I want to speak on my experience. And one thing I have that others don't have is experience from all spectrums. First, I want to deal with what we need to do from a local perspective. That we need to clear up our neighborhoods. Because one thing we have to stop doing, we can't wait for somebody to come in and rescue us. And we have to stop blaming and complaining. Blaming and complaining. And one other thing we have to stop, we have to get off CP time. It is not an official time zone. But some of the things that we can do is, we can look out for our neighbors. And these are things that I've seen. Like I said, over my 27 years or what I've given out popsicles, I've dealt with minimum of 2,000 kids and several hundred parents. So what I'm talking about now is things that I've seen myself. One of the things we need to stop saying, F my neighbor, I don't care about my neighbor. We need to start looking out for our neighbors. If we don't look out for ourselves, who's going to? Another thing they do, we have to start snitching. That's one of the things we got to do. We have to do that because in our neighborhoods, the criminal get more respect than the snitch does. When you have a parent tell a child, "I don't like snitches," then you say you want this child to be able to talk to you. So if the child how does the child know what snitching is? If it's got a schoolmate gonna blow up the school, gonna shoot up the school, what you did? Well, just don't tell nobody. Just don't go to school that day. If he can't tell you, if it's snitching, you have to encourage him to snitch. Tell your kid to tell you anything and everything, no matter how small it is. That's how you do with your kids. Another thing we'll do: introduce yourself to your neighbors. That's one of the easiest things to do. Pick up trash in the neighborhood. You can volunteer at school. You can vote. Get to know your candidates and vote. Take your kids out and vote. Attend meetings. Join PTA, PTOs. It's not someone else's job. Remember, if it needs to be done, do it yourself. And stop making excuses. Take responsibilities. Stop, especially one of the excuses I hate the most, and I hear it all the time. They won't let me do it because I'm black. We need to get our black pride back, people. We're losing it. We never say they won't let me do it because I'm black. They can't stop me because I'm black. That's where your black pride come in at. I've heard other people say many times, well, they ain't gonna let no black get in that position. Then go out there and take that position. We lost our fight. We're fighting each other, but we won't fight. We won't fight together. We'll go ahead and fight each other all day long, but we won't fight. We won't fight for each other. We're still killing each other. But talking about let's get together, go do something here that's gonna help us out. Then we got excuses. We got this. Well, man, I can't do that. Don't know that. No. But don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Just think before you say something to another person, before you look at another person, ask him. Ask yourself that. Would I be comfortable if they're gonna do it to me this way? No. Do your own research. Quit listening to what people are telling us. We got to start doing it for ourselves. Some of the things this actually makes very little, if any, sense to me. Making children fight. Taking your child to another child's house to fight, letting this child come to your house to fight your child. That is, to me, that just makes no sense to me. But I see it regularly. There's some of the excuses I give, well, I want my kid to be able to fight out here on the street. But like I say, do you want your kid to fight out here on the street? You want your kid to fight your way off the street. You can't fight your way out the street out here in the gutters out here fighting. That's not the way you get off the street. You got to teach your kid to fight off the streets and not in the streets. Another thing I don't get enough of, non-custodial parents. Parents visiting, spending time with your child, taking care of your child. Buying diapers and formula is not taking care of your child. That child needs time, whether you are with the parent or not, whether you're two parents together or not. You need to spend time with that child. No excuse for school. These children need to be in school. Provided something very, very serious, I see too many of my kids not going to school. And I'm always stopping them on the street. Parents, this is one thing I definitely want you to know. Your children, they're lying. Period. That's it. Your children are lying. So I'm just telling you, and one of the biggest insults you can do is when an adult come up and tell you something they saw your child doing, and you ask your child, did you do that? And your child said no, and you tell her at that adult face, you said to that child, you lucky I can't prove it, otherwise I'd do this to you. You're not doing your child a favor at all. I'm telling you, you're hurting your child. Supporting your child. This is what you say, you're supporting your child. That don't mean defending the act that your child performed. Supporting your child means that being there for your child. That's what that means. Another thing, know where your children are. This, when the sun goes down, when the porch light comes on, or whatever, no. If you are not in my house, I want to know where you are. Period. I want to put my hand on you. I want to know where you send me. I want to put my hand on you. And know what's going on with your child. Just think about this. If you have a child that walks in your house with $150 gym shoes, he has no job, you didn't buy him, come on now. His friend, let's go talk to his friend. What did your friend get him? Yeah. Another thing we want to, bullying. Everybody tells kids don't bully, and kids will tell you they're not bullies. But the problem is, we don't tell kids what bullying is. Because a kid feels that if I've been playing with you like this all the time, now you don't have a right to get mad this time. And I tell them all the time, if the child tells you to stop and you continue it, and you're bullying. You know, if someone says stop, you stop. That's bullying. Parents, your house, your rules. The one right that your child don't have in your house is the right of privacy. Period. Anything in that room belongs to you. You can look under that mattress, you can look in the dresser, you can look anywhere in that room. It's yours. Let's take that and go with that. Another thing. Don't go to your child's school to fight or to curse out their teachers. I don't care what the provocation is. That is an absolute no. You never, ever, under any circumstances, go to the school to curse out or fight a teacher. Period. Hey. Don't allow your child to live in your house and play house. You want a house? Make it your own house. Which brings me to the next point. How many young men do you know under 30 of our young men have the house, have their name on a lease or a deed? We need to encourage that. So stop allowing them to run back to your house every time this girl puts them out. Well, I can always go back to my mom. You need to stop. We need to put a stop to that. Stop cursing and using derogatory terms to refer to your kid. You're not doing the kid a favor. So before you start, if stop talking about you're not the parents my parents were. No, you're not. What my parents would have done, what our parents did, what our parents would have did. We're not the parents our parents were. Because if the lady down the street whoop your kid, you're gonna get mad at him. So let's get away from that for a minute. But here's what I want us to do as a community. Because we can solve our problems here. I would say for the school district, the city, and the county working together with our community, we can solve our problems. The school districts, first of all, needs to have, each school should have a liaison between the school and the school and the community. That should be a required position for every school. I mean, it could be the counselor, it could be one person, but that person needs to be able to go into the community when necessary. And I would have the county, because the health department already has a database with all the mental health organizations in them, because when they were doing this, the organization they were doing back a while back, they should have that already. Get all the mental health professionals in the city, get them under their roof. And you monitor each kindergarten for a child that's acting up. Because see, our focus has been on older kids. And that's not nothing wrong with that. But now we need to focus on the young kids because they're getting younger. And most kids start exhibiting that type of behavior in kindergarten earlier. So if we had a health professional monitoring the children in kindergarten, and you had the parent school liaison person that's also operating in the school that can operate with the community. When you find this child that's having these behavior problems, this mental health professionals would assess the situation to find out if it's something they need to work with the parent on. If so, then they would get with the parent liaison and try to work with the parent. Or whatever the situation, whatever need be, they would get on that problem right there at that time, early, in kindergarten and first grade. Now, when you get to that parent that can't or won't, or whatever, this is where the city comes in at. The city has a large number of individuals, mentors and leaders or whatever that they can call on. I would break those up into about 5 because you're not talking about that many parents. So it's not like you're talking about 100 thousands of parents. You're not even talking about dozens, probably. You're talking about maybe a couple. Anyway, I would break those up into teams of 5. When I have these parents or this parent that can't, for whatever reason, cooperate, these 5 would get with this parent, take this parent out to dinner, lunch, whatever, just to get the parent, just get out with the parent, just y'all and the parent, not to dictate to the parent, but just ask the parent, look here, we care about your child, and we want to make sure that your child has the best opportunities, just find out, what can we do to help you? And these parents, these people will stay with this parent through the process until the counselor say, hey, we got everything under control. We're solving our own problems then. And we're nipping them in the bud. We're catching them early. Because when you get these kids 15, 16, many of these kids are set in their ways. I'm telling you what I know. They're set in their ways. And it's hard to stop them at that time. That's the way that we can get a hold of our local problems here. Because right now, we have a lot of organizations doing great work. Because crime is down. It's way down. And it's because of the organizations up here, because that's the only thing that's doing differently. Because with this other stuff that is putting out here on us, we have a long time to fight that. But those are my ideas as far as how we can get that done locally. But now, what I want to now is go to the big issue. That is national. And what we are allowing ourselves to do and to become. Because, see, that bothers me. Because I know the pain that we went through to get us to this point. And if anybody wants to question that, I would put my credentials up against anyone. Because I went from sharecropper's shack being beaten for not picking cotton, going into the segregated Louisiana Army in 65, early penitentiary at 7, early 70s, Vietnam in the 60s. So there was racism on every one of those fronts. Every one of them. So when I tell you I know what I'm talking about, what I need us to stop doing is listening to what we are being told by the people. And what I mean the people that's telling us all the things that we are going about repeating. People, Donald Trump is not our biggest problem. Donald Trump right now is our biggest excuse. We have 3 levels that we are being given now. Because the ones that were telling us that are the ones supposedly representing us is the slave masters, your Democrats, and then you got your progressives, which I call your abolitionists, and then you have your KKK, which I call your Donald Trump's crowd. So we know where the KKK is coming from. They want to take the stuff that they've given us and all this kind of stuff like this and make us get it for us. That's what Donald Trump wants in a way. But what are the Democrats offering us? The same old thing. Keep us where we are. There's no progression in that. So what we need to do, we need to stop listening to what people are telling us. First of all, know our candidates. If your only thing the candidate is telling us what he's going to do against Donald Trump, ask him what he's going to do. You see, 3 big years, which I'm proud of. 1954, which I was born then, but I wasn't out there in the fight during 54. We all know Brown versus Board of Education, which a lot of people, another thing, we have different interpretations of that. To you all, it means going to white school. To us, it means going to good schools. We never say I want to go to be with the white folk. We want to go to the same school because they got the best books, they got the best lab, they got everything else there. So get that straight. But anyway, Brown versus Board of Education was a great year. The second big thing was 1964. That one was huge, civil rights. That wasn't as big to me as either of the other two. But anyway, civil rights were huge. Sitting on the bus, with the water fountains, that was great. 65, that was the year I was most proud of. Not only we went into the Army, but that was also the year that the Voting Rights Act came up. There was also the year that something that gets very, 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 very little attention. That was huge. That was when the first official affirmative action policy came about. The Voting Act was huge. That was the biggest thing. That was the two things my mother's grandmother, all of them always talked about: voting and education. Those two things they stressed. So when the Voting Rights Act came up, we know we had to make it then. So when they threw down affirmative action policies in there, now we on the road. We're there. We almost there. Then we stopped. After 65, our whole taxes changed. After 70, we basically just quit. 1970, because when the Voting Rights Act first came out back we started voting 66, I believe 66, man, the line was around the corner. Now you don't get 10% of us voting. So we thought we had it made. Affirmative action. We thought we had it made. People getting jobs, going to school. I mean, man, I'm telling you, and then we quit. So now we're giving it back. But I'll tell you what, though, it's not just the Republicans that's taking it back. They're taking it back, too. But we're losing on both fronts. I'm going to tell you why. Because we're getting caught up in DEI. We are allowing them to put us in DEI, people. Affirmative action is not DEI. It's like that professor from Howard University when they talked about why the HBCUs were not speaking up against DEI. He said, we're against DEI. He said, but make no mistake about it. HBCUs are not DEI. So that's where we got to get straight with now. They are putting affirmative action in DEI. So therefore, the Republicans want to take away DEI and affirmative action. So now they got grounds there for both sides. our slave masters and our abolitionists, they want to put us in with DEI because they feel like it's going to strengthen DEI. But instead, it's going to weaken affirmative action. Because we fought for affirmative action. There are a lot of things, and I'm telling you, we all know this. There's a lot of things in DEI that I don't like. There's something in DEI I just don't like, period. A lot of other things makes me uncomfortable. I'm not willing to put my lot in just on DEI. You have to break DEI down to me. Because right now I want my candidates to respond. Are you for affirmative action as a separate entity of DEI? Because I'm going to tell you some of the things that we're going to have to work here as a people. DEI is great. I'm all for it to an extent. But, there are certain people that say, hey, even criminals should not be deported. Sometimes they're asking us to have fewer rights than the criminals have. Because if I go out here in these streets in Peoria and commit a crime, I'm deported to Mississippi just like that to finish a life sentence. So now how can you tell me that somebody over here who's committing a crime can't be deported? Yes, and they get more rights than I do. There are certain municipalities that are talking about giving illegals the right to vote. There are millions of my people across the South that is being denied the right to vote because of a conviction. Mississippi has a law on its book. Certain crimes committed by blacks will make them ineligible to vote for life. A crime like stealing a car. You're barred for life from voting in Mississippi. Grand larceny. You're barred for life from voting in Mississippi. And many other states across the South have those type of laws. Why aren't our landlords, our slave owners, and our masters fighting the KKK over that? They're not fighting for that. But they're going to help, like they're going down to visit people down in El Salvador. I can take you that down in Mississippi right now. That this man serving a life sentence now for raping a Caucasian female that everybody knows he been going in woman's back door every day when the man goes to work. But he still got a life sentence. I ain't nobody going down there visiting with him. So now we got to put this thing in perspective here. Another thing we have to worry about the DEI. I don't know anyone that is in favor of a parent changing the sex of their child. That just makes absolutely no sense to me. Just because a child is acting feminine doesn't mean that child wants to be a girl. I have 3 gay people in my family. I've asked all 3 of them would they have wanted to be changed, and they said, hell no. There is no way we should be able to do that. No way. And that's those kind of things like that. Another thing we got to stop doing. There is a situation in Chicago that this girl, 15 or 16, I'm not sure which, was sent in to get an abortion by her pimp. She got the abortion. 2 days later, she's back out there on the stove. Her parents never knew anything about it. Can't do that. Can't do that. We can't do that. And let me get back on Trump, though. One golden opportunity they're making here. Why wouldn't you meet with Donald Trump? That makes absolutely no sense. Donald Trump is a racist, yes. But I have dealt with racists 10 times worse than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is what they call a segregationist type racist. He believes in separate but equal. The only difference is his equal and my equal ain't equal. But Donald Trump has done so magnificent with these HBCUs, they are thriving under Trump. That right there is reason to get with Donald Trump. Because of that. Donald Trump is a type racist. Yes, he's attacking DEI for all this stuff on the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, he's adding all this money to the HBCUs. And I know this for a fact. He just gave millions of dollars to them in my home state, Mississippi. So So he's giving millions of dollars to the HBCU, extra money. They got not only a seat in the White House, they got the table in the White House. The HBCUs are thriving, people. I'm telling you that right now. That right there is enough right there to sit down with Donald Trump, because he's the type of racist, he likes to be liked. He wants to be feared and liked. If you show him that you like him over here, man, come on, dog, man, you're doing a good job, man. Hey, how about this other 2 or 3 million right here? He'll do it, because he said, man, you see, they like me. And that's how you deal with them. But you don't deal with the Donald Trump by trying to shun him, or by trying to show him up, because this is you're picking a fight, people, that you don't need. We can get this done much, much, much easier if we get our people up in there. And we got to quit listening to just the people, because they say, okay, I'm Buddy Black. No, if you don't show me what you're going to do. Don't just tell me what you for. Because let's not forget, many of these policies was put in there not by the KKK, they were put in there by our slave masters. A lot of these crime policies were put in there by Joe Biden and Bill Clinton. A lot of those they put in 2 major crime policies. The welfare policy was put in there by Biden. You know, they make it easier to get on welfare, but they make it hard as hell to get off of it. They don't want you off of it. They want to keep you right where you are. You know, they got us convinced. They tell us this shit, and then first thing they do, we go back and tell our people that. You know, quit doing that. You know, tell the people the truth. Don't go back because somebody say, hey, man, you know, we can do this here, we can do that there, we can do that there. No, we got to go out here and do this. Another thing Donald Trump has done. And the problem is, I don't like the way he does things. He goes way, way, way too far overboard. Yeah, the drugs coming over the border has been cut down way, way, way down. Because out here on these streets now, I'm telling you what I know. That fentanyl, what it is out here, it's been stepped on now 4, 5, 6 times. It's so weak now, hardcore can't get in on it. So he has done some good things. So that's what we need. That's what we need to start getting with him on, because he has done some good things, and we need to congratulate him on these good things he's done and give him credit for the good things. Because my mom always said, "Give the devil his due." I mean, you ain't gotta like him. I don't like him, but I ain't gonna take away something he done. But I'm telling you what though, I'm not gonna just go out here and vote for no Democrat just because you say you're a Democrat either. If you're gonna try to put affirmative action in with DEI, you ain't getting my vote. So if you don't want to do affirmative action and DEI, you ain't getting my vote. That's ruling out Trump. That's ruling out Kamala Harris. That's ruling out J.B. Pritzker. That's ruling out this idiot down there in Texas. That's ruling out all of them. I don't know nobody out there right now. Unless somebody coming on the scene, I might write my name in there. But you know, it's not going on right now, people. You know, we need to get together, and like I say, if you want to see this again, go to YouTube, search East Bluff Streaming TV. And I want to thanks for listening. My name is Jesse McGowan Jr. Take care.